Hello friends, welcome. I'm so glad you're here with me today. So I'm excited about today's project, and I titled this video creating an Easter card with a shaped card front. So at first glance you may look at this and think this is just a regular card, but actually the card front is the egg itself. So I think it's fun sometimes when you have a large die to do this technique. It's a simple thing to do. You're just creating a hinge and making the front of the card a shape. So we're going to do that today, and the fun thing about this technique is you always have a piece on the inside here that is cut out. So therefore you have a great opportunity to make a second card, which I have done as well today. So to get started, let's look at the products. I'll set these aside, and I'm using quite a bit of product today, so we're going to go through them really quick. This is a perfect set for Easter. It is the stitched, pierced, let's get it right, nested pierced egg die set. So it gives you the little piercing on the outside as well as the inside. So on my card here, you can see that even around the inside here, it has that nice stitched detail, which is a nice little added bonus. We're using this great little bunny butt that you just have to use for Easter. The happy sayings, both the stamp and the die set. I'm using the new Easter sentiments, and specifically I'm using bunny kisses and Easter wishes, although this happy Easter one is nice as well. All of them are good. To decorate my eggs, I'm using this fun set called Stitches. And for my second card, I'm going to use one of the bunnies from the Bunny Garden die set, and or stamp and die, before I use this, but I have a couple others to choose from. For my sentiment on our first card, I'm using the little tiny Happy Easter from this set. For my paper, I'm using the Extra Bunny. So this is a lovely spring set with so many pretty papers, and we're going to be using one from there. And for my grass, I'm using my favorite die here, which I use in just about every card, from the Build a Fairy Garden. So lots and lots of product today. So to get started, I'm going to grab a piece of scratch paper here, and we are going to decorate our eggs using our stitches. So I have 3 eggs here that we're going to decorate. And I have a long stamping block. And we're just going to choose some of these stitches to decorate our eggs. So let's see, I think there's so many to choose from. I think I'm going to use this little curvy one. So I end up doing them different every time, and I like to curve it just a tad because these are, you can shape them. I'm going to curve it just a little bit, not much, but just a tiny bit, because our egg is curved, and that will just make it not look like a totally straight line. So I'm going to start at the top, and I just wanted a tone on tone, so I'm using this rose petal ink, but of course you could use any color that worked for you. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of, whoops, there we go. I'm going to put them kind of far apart so I have room to put a different design in between. There we go. And let's see. Next, I'm going to use this much bigger wavy piece. This is just a fun way to decorate these eggs. There, I think I'll come back with the little X's. There's like one that's got little crossed hashtag kind of look. And we're going to do that one as well. And I just realized I should have been doing both of them at the same time. We'll have to come back and do the other one. So how's everyone doing today while we decorate that? I love to hear from you there in the chat. And do you send any Easter cards? I only send a few. I don't live close to family. A lot of my family lives further away, so I do send just a few. Kind of like Thanksgiving. I don't send a lot, but I send 2 or 3. Oops. There we go. And for my last one, just right down here. That'll probably be down in the grass. But okay, so we have 1 egg. We're going to go ahead and do this one as well. Okay. These little stitched stamps here are really fun to add to frames and things as well. Like around a frame, like you could, whether it's on like scrapbook pages or just all kinds of uses for these little stitchings. Some people are able to do it with a pen. Me, not so much. I like having a stamp. I'm better with a stamp than I am a pen. There we go. All right, we'll come back one more time. So coming up very quickly is going to be another summit, I believe. So if you've participated in those in the past, you might want to check into the upcoming schedule and get signed up for that. There we go. Okay, so we have our 2 eggs. And then for the last one here, this little one, it's going to go on our bonus card. So quickly do that one. And for that one, I'm going to use this little scalloped one. And for that, I'm going to curve it a little bit more because this is a smaller egg. And just going to go. All right. Isn't that a fun way to decorate these eggs with these fun stitching? I just thought that was a neat way to use this stitch stamp. All right, so to finish our eggs off, we're just going to quickly go around them with our same color ink. So just going to add that. We're just going to go around the edges with our ink. And I'll show you here in a second why we needed 2. There we go. So one thing about this technique that we're doing today, you can do this with any shape. Because it's Easter, I'm using the Easter eggs, but you know, you could do it with a star or a heart or even like a, you know, what's the right word? You know, a shape that's not really a specific shape. What do you call that? Any kind of like oblong type shape, but you could pretty much any shape that you have. It just has to be a large enough die to kind of be a similar size to your card front. All right. Okay, so the next thing, now that we have our eggs ready to go, the next thing we need to do is prepare our card front or our pattern paper piece. And to do that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get the largest egg. And I'm also going to take a solid piece. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to glue this on, but I'm only going to glue around the edges because the middle section I want to come out. I'll just glue around the edges. Add that right here. All right, now we're going to center our card and run that through the machine real quick. And I do want to, I'm going to scoot it over just a little bit. I want to make sure I have it pretty well centered, but I want plenty of room on this side because this is the side that my hinge is going to be on. So if you do get off a little, you don't want it on that side. Now for the other pieces for this card, I have gone ahead and got some of them ready for us. All right, so here's our card front. Now this piece, I'm going to go ahead and save that for our second card. So we'll set that one aside. But for this piece, let me grab one more. This is going to be our card front. So this piece right here is the piece that I have made to be my hinge. And it's about 1 inch by 1 1/4, I believe, or 1 1/2. And you're going to take your scoreboard, and I'm going to score it at probably not quite a 1/2 inch, just shy of a 1/2 inch. And if you did it right at a 1/2 inch, you can always trim it if it doesn't, if it's too wide. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a second. So I know that right here is pretty narrow and it wasn't quite a 1/2 inch. So if you do it too far, it's going to show in your egg. See what I mean? You don't want it to show. So it's got to fit in that little place right there. So this is going to be our card back. Go ahead and burnish this. And I need to put my glasses on real quick. I can't believe I'm doing all this with only half seen. There we go. That'll work better. Now I'm going to add oops. And when you set it down, I like to set it so that I'm having trouble talking today. I like to set it so that it's off the edge. You want your little hinge to be just slightly off the edge. You don't want to put it right on there or you might have trouble with it folding. All right, and then we're just going to go ahead. And you know what? Something in my mind told me I was doing that wrong. You guys probably caught that sooner, didn't you? I've added it to the wrong part. I was supposed to add it to the egg. So we'll just add another hinge here and do the same thing. So now it is just a little less than 1 inch, but that is going to work just fine for us. Score it the same thing. I kept thinking, why is that not coming out right? That's because you put it on the base instead of on the egg. All right, so here we go. We have our egg, and this is the piece that is going to open like this. But before we do that, I have another piece of patterned paper that I have cut, and we need to attach that because if you'll see, a little of it's going to show on our egg. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to cover this piece on both sides with our patterned paper. There we go. And same thing. You want to put it right up to the hinge, but not over. Whew, almost messed that up. Glad I caught myself. I was like, why is that not working the same way it worked before? Sometimes. And then the same on this side, I'm going to add just a little bit of my patterned paper. There we go. Just like that. And we'll trim that off as well. Now I'm going to do the same to the back side. Just like that. So you're basically just covering your hinge with your patterned paper, making sure you leave the fold open. All right. There we go. There's one last trim. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this down on the inside. So we're going to have it just like this, but we want to hide our hinge right under here. All right, there we go. All right, and then when this closes, we'll be able to attach our egg on just like this. Okay. I'm going to place it right on here. Hopefully this is making sense to everyone. Since I kind of messed that up, I confused myself. Hopefully I did not confuse you. We'll walk through it again here in just a second when we get this all on. So basically I have attached my hinge to this piece, and now we're going to attach it to make our card base. There we go. All right. Now when this folds over, we're going to attach one egg on the front side just like this, and that's why it's important to have two. I'm gonna run my glue right along here. We're gonna add our egg, making sure that we've got it right in the right spot. There we go. And then when it opens up, we're going to add the other egg that we decorated onto the back side so that our egg is decorated all the way around instead of just on one side. So I'm going to go ahead, am I in the camera? I'm going to add my glue all the way around. There we go. And we'll line up my egg right on there. Okay, there we got it. All right, and there we have our card front with our shape. So I have gone ahead and I cut out just the bottom half of my egg on some green paper. Then I used my grass piece from the Build-A-Fairy die to make myself a little bit of grass to go right down here at the bottom. I'm just gonna add my grass on, and now we're going to add this fun little bunny butt. To do that, we're gonna, I left this top portion just a little bit off so I can tuck some ears. Now the die set does not come with ears, but I think that this bunny just looks cute with having ears. So I take my finger and I lay it down on a piece of paper and I traced my finger, and then I just freehand cut around it, making sure that's a little wider at the top and tapered at the bottom. But that's exactly how I did it. I just laid it down and I traced my finger. So you just need a couple pieces that you can tuck under there. And I wanted them to be a similar width, so that's why I just traced my finger. So just like that. Once you get your tail and everything on there, you know, they don't have to be exact, just a ballpark to look like ears, because we're going to add our feet. And I decided I wanted some foam under the feet. So I hope that you could tell by watching what I did there. Now, the two little pieces, as it turns out, I didn't need to add paper on both sides. Hi, Shauna, how are you? It sounds garbled. Okay, that may be because I was so confused. Let me see here. All right, does it still sound garbled, Seahorse Stamper? I adjusted my volume a little bit. See if that fixes it. All right, let's go ahead and add our little bunny feet. And then for the final piece of our bunny, I'm going to turn on my glue gun here. And we're going to add a little piece of cotton to be his tail. So that'll take just a second. And while we're waiting on that, I stamped the little bitty Happy Easter from the Hoppy Thoughts. And then from our Garden Bunny set, this one right here, there's a little butterfly. And since this paper has little yellow butterflies in it, I thought it was fun just to add a little butterfly. So that's going to be my sentiment here on the front. There we go. And we'll add this little butterfly. Whoops, if I can get my hands on it. Go, and I just placed him right here next to our sentiment. So I do have just a regular cotton ball here, and I'm going to attach that just right here on his bottom to give him a nice, there we go. I like to use hot glue for this. I find that regular glue just doesn't hold it on there over the long run. There you go. So, by creating your little hinge, you can make any front of the card be a shaped card. So, I just thought that was fun, especially for Easter. I love decorating the large egg. And our final piece to this card is we're going to add a Easter greeting on the inside. And I'm going to go ahead and just do that with a stamping block, instead of getting out, and I think this time I'm going to use the phrase, "the hunt is on." Since he's, looks like he's kind of got his head stuck down looking, either he's hiding eggs or looking for eggs, but I think this time I'm going to use "the hunt is on." And I'm going to go ahead and turn this off so I don't burn myself when I'm not paying attention. Okay. Now this stamp, I have not used it before, and I didn't condition it first, so we'll see. Hopefully it'll stamp first. I should have rubbed it off real well, but I think it'll do okay. All right, the hunt is on. I love it. I think these cards are so cute, and it's always just a little bit of surprise that the front is your shape rather than the whole front of the card. Now, if you didn't want to do the hinge method, this would still be a very cute card if you just made this your card front and then it opened like a regular card. I just think it's fun sometimes to do things a little different. So that's why we did the hinge method on that one. But the fun thing about this is that you always get a twofer. So for my next card, it's a pretty simple design. But we have 3 eggs. We've got our big egg that was the center. And because it's pierced on both the outer and the inner, you get this fun piercing even on this piece. And I went ahead and die cut some of the other eggs that are in the same set as your large egg. And I cut 2 other sizes. And then from our happy sayings, I cut just one circle, and I think I punched that with a circle punch, but you could also use dies. And I'm going to layer that up. So get nice. There we go. And these will be our pieces for that. And I did go ahead and cut myself a couple pieces of grass, and we've got our eggs. And then I have two bunnies here that are already colored, and these were older. These were from another project I did a while ago, but I just love it when I can use up pieces that I've already colored. So that's another bonus too, especially when you're kind of doing a bonus card. And one of my favorite ink blends for spring is scattered straw and spun sugar. So I'm going to start with scattered straw. And I'm going to start right in the middle of my page because I know that this egg is going to cover up the majority of it. So I'm just going to add myself a nice summer day here with some scattered straw, kind of pulling it out towards the edges. Okay. And now I'll come in from the outer edges and blend my pink right into that pretty yellow color. I think these two colors make such a pretty spring sky. Right. Add a little more of the yellow to blend it together. And there we go. A very quick and pretty spring sky. So let's close these up. Now for my grass, I'm going to layer them. So you have like 2 layers of grass just like this. And the eggs will be tucked back into the grass. Some will be on front, but I'm going to do that. So again, I'm leaving that top edge unglued so that I can tuck things under it. And I'm not putting this grass all the way to the bottom. I'm moving it up just a little bit. And then my next grass, I'll put it all the way to the bottom. Again, leaving the top edge so I can tuck things into it. All right, just like that. So the first one is going to be our big egg here. We're going to add it down into the grass. Here, I'm going to put it into this one. There we go. Just like that. And then I have my other 2 eggs, and I'm just going to kind of sit them in there just like this. Pop this one up a little bit. Now, we can decide, I think I like the little boy bunny about like this right here. We also have the option of the little girl bunny. But I think I like, because he's laying in the grass, I'm just kind of liking that vibe for this card. So I see her more among flowers. I think I like this little guy laying in the grass. So let's go ahead. And I have the word Easter from our happy sayings. And we're just going to stamp that right in here. And because my little bunny is stamped in black ink, I thought it would be fine to go ahead and stamp our Easter word in black ink as well. There we go. And I'm going to pop these 2 up also. Happy Easter right there on the center of our big egg. And we'll lay our little boy bunny right down here in the grass. All right, I think they turned out so cute. And I'll grab our little bunny butts as well. And there are some cute spring cards. So we've got our hinge card, which gives you this big extra egg. We didn't waste it. We used it to make another fun set of cards over here. So it's just a cute idea for Easter. I thank you so much for joining me. If you're interested in any of these products, they are listed below my video. And I just thank you so much for stopping by and crafting with me today. I hope you're having a wonderful day and you're looking forward to a fun Easter. All right, thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to crafting with you again soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.